One of the most wonderful aspects of working at the Weisenthal Center since before we opened was having a nearly 30-year relationship with the famed Nazi hunter, Mr. Weisenthal, Simon, as we knew him. A few things over a decade after his passing at the age of 96 that still flood back. Number one, his amazing courage in not only in surviving the Holocaust and overcoming everything just to be able to physically make it when the American troops liberated him. The courage of reuniting with his wife who was hidden by righteous Gentiles. The courage of bringing a child back into the world after everything that they had experienced. And then also the amazing moment in his life immediately after word came out that Adolf Eichmann had been arrested by the Israelis, kidnapped, and spirited off to Israel. Mr. Weisenthal's wife got a call at home with a threat to kill their only child. She had a heart attack. He came to see her, and she said, look, they, of course, immediately made arrangements for their daughter to leave for Israel. She's now herself a great-grandmother. But at that moment, in so many years ago, Sheila said to her husband, look, you promised me only 3 or 4 years. You got Eichmann. Let's get out of here, go to Israel, where we really want to be. And at that moment, Simon Weisenthal tells his wife, I can't leave. Because as she would later say, you know, you kind of have 2 marriages. You're married to me and you're married to 6 million ghosts. So the courage of standing up, of setting up shop in Austria, in Vienna, ultimately, people may have forgotten, but their home actually was bombed by neo-Nazis, and they were lucky to have survived. This took place when there already was a Simon Weisenthal Center. So nothing would stop him. Tremendous courage and, as we say in Yiddish, an action par excellence. Here's a man who drew the line and said, we're not going to let them get away with it. This isn't about revenge, but about justice. This isn't only about Jews, but in a broader way, fighting what the Nazis and people like them stood for. And in that sense, just, in that way, very much bigger than life. The other piece about what made this very complicated man tick was he also had a wicked Yiddish sense of humor. And I think he actually wrote a book in German about the kind of humor that got people through, or helped get people through what they were, the unspeakable things they were experiencing. So he had that wicked sense of humor. On the other hand, he always spoke his mind, and he showed tremendous tenacity and courage when pretty much the rest of the world said, including very prominent Jewish leaders, right through the 1960s and 70s and beyond. Mr. Weisenthal, Simon, you know what? It's time to forgive and forget and to go on. And he taught generations of people an important lesson. We can say that the efforts today against genocide are flawed, and that would be putting it mildly. But whatever legal efforts there are in this area, essentially because of one man who said, we can't let the murderers get away with it. So a real giant of a human being, but also in the Jewish vernacular, we don't believe in saints. So he had plenty of warts, and not the easiest guy to get along with. And there were times that we had major differences with him. But at the end of the day, what a tremendous, courageous Jew, human being, and leader.